Before I came to Metro Community College, I worked as a utility line technician for two different companies. I started with Lincoln Electric System, and I started right out of high school. They hired me off the street. At the time when I went into the business, it was in the early 70s, and they didn't have schools with any formal education to help you become a utility line technician. Utilities or contractors simply hired you off the street. That's the way I got my start. So I started at Lincoln Electric. They started me in the tree trimming department, and I quickly moved up to an apprentice lineman position and worked through the system and became a journeyman lineman while at Lincoln Electric System. I then later decided to take a different job with Norris Public Power District. I worked there for a total of 19 years as a lineman, as a serviceman, which I did a variety of things as a serviceman. And you know, that was pretty much my life, and I thought that would probably be my life until I got into my retirement phase of my life. And then I ran into a gentleman that was doing some training for Norris Public Power, and I was involved in the training. I was part of one of the trainees. And he was at that time the instructor for the utility line program at Metro Community College. And he just mentioned to me that he was retiring, just in passing. And I got to talking with him and asked him what the job was like, and we got to talk and had a conversation. I came up and visited, went through the formal process of interviewing, and decided to make a career change at that time to become an instructor at Metro Community College. Yeah, one of the interesting things about becoming an instructor at the college is that I really had no formal education in teaching. I knew the business very well. I knew how to do line work, and I had done a lot of training in an on-the-job environment where I would help an apprentice learn things. So not that I hadn't done training, but in a formal classroom situation, I hadn't really had that training. But at Metro Community College, I learned how to do that. They had a lot of classes that helped me with that facet. Since I've been at the college, I've achieved my bachelor's degree. So I have increased my training, increased my knowledge as well. And I found, again, just like it was when I was on the job doing line work, a lot of this is on the job training. I learned a lot just doing it, and hopefully became a better teacher as time went on. As I was doing my training in the Lincoln Electric System and involved in their apprenticeship program, one lineman in particular that I had an opportunity to work with really was a mentor to me. His name was Paul Dillner. He has since retired and passed, but he taught me really how to do line work more so than any other person I worked with. He was very efficient in the way he did his work. He was very safe in the way he did his work. He was very patient in training and teaching how to do the work. Really was a mentor for me when I moved on and became an instructor myself, knowing how you have to be patient, you have to let people learn on their own and give them a chance to fail maybe so that they can learn. One of my goals in teaching is to not just, not everybody that goes through our program is probably going to be successful in the program or probably end up being in the line work. But one thing I really try to do with my students is make them believe that they can do what they want to do. I try to instill in them some kind of confidence. I try to be very patient with them, and I hope they remember me as a person or as an instructor that not just showed them how to do something, but really helped them learn how to do it. One of the biggest challenges in teaching, as far as I can see, is that each student is an individual. Each student learns differently, and you've got to be patient with the ones that you don't think are catching on as fast as they should, because very often they'll end up being very good at the work. They just need a little more time. So treating each student as an individual, seeing them that way, not becoming impatient if I don't think they're learning it fast enough. If they're willing to work, I'm willing to work with them, and just the challenge of each individual personality and being able to meet their needs and help them become what they want to be is probably my biggest challenge. It's hard for me. I'm not a real philosophical person. To say that I have a teaching philosophy is, I would say my philosophy, if I have to really nail it down, is just simply that every student that comes to me, they've paid their tuition, they've made the effort to come and learn from me, and my philosophy is to give them what they deserve and to try to help them become as successful as they can be. My vision for the utility line technician program is that, first of all, we want to make sure that we are training our students with the most modern technology available. So when they come here and they learn on certain types of equipment, it's the same equipment they're going to see when they go out into the field. So we want to make sure we keep our program upgraded. We want to keep our teachers knowledgeable in the field so that they will continue to be relevant in what we teach, so we're not teaching outmoded ways. And then I really believe we can expand into other areas of training. Sometimes we got to be a little careful we don't try to do too much and go beyond what we're capable with our staffing and with our budget, but I think we could do training for existing linemen, people that are apprentice. We'd like to do some apprenticeship training. We'd like to just take this program to whatever will meet the needs of our advisory group, of our stakeholders, the power companies that we work with. If they have a need, we want to be able to meet that need in training as well. When I was getting ready to graduate from high school, my parents really were encouraging me to go to college. And of course I was 18 and I couldn't be told anything at that time, and I didn't want to go to college. I wanted to go to work. And the interesting thing about that is I did follow my heart. I went to work. It turned out to be a really great career as a utility line technician. It's just kind of ballooned into even more than I ever could have imagined it to be, as an opportunity to be able to teach students and help them become successful in this business as well. When I was in high school, or right before high school actually, in junior high, I had a teacher, Mr. Fredrickson, who was really instrumental in me getting interested in things like science and math. He really made the class interesting. He really challenged me to go above and beyond just what was in the book and what my abilities were. And I was always interested in math and science, and those things are so integral to utility line work. You really need to have a good foundation in math, and you need to have that curiosity, I think, that science brings, to just want to learn the work and learn about electricity. And so Mr. Fredrickson was one of the most influential teachers that I had growing up. I think the thing that gives me the biggest high or the biggest up when I'm teaching is when you're trying to explain a complex concept to students, and for a while you see that blank look where they're just not getting it, but then finally you're able to explain it in a way or demonstrate it in a way that you see the light bulb go off in their head and they start to get it. And that, to me, that is the ultimate teaching high. My name is Rich Newcomer, and I'm an instructor in the Utility Line Technician program at Metro Community College.